clip, and that will be for shaping Atlas. Okay, so Atlas rules as stated by Gigi, and that I found to be true as well, is white monsters can only drop plus zeros. Yellow monsters can drop a maximum of +1, blues as well, and then unique bosses in the map itself that aren't Rogue Exiles or invasion bosses, beyond bosses, stuff like that, they can drop up to +2. Okay, and so when you're doing the Atlas, the base map quantity has not I forgot to hit record. The base quantity has not changed, okay? Whether you have 0 or 126, if you do 100 maps with the same exact roles, you will not have any more maps, okay? That's stated by Gigi. So you'll have the same amount of maps. What this does do is, imagine this, okay, divide the number you have by 100 and then multiply that to your average tier, okay? So what that means is, what this does is it shifts up your average tier of maps. Okay, very important to note. So number of maps that you drop stays the same. So Gigi has said that. So what you want to do is, when you get to a certain level, you're never going to be doing less than like tier 6 maps, right? So what you do is you complete everything until tier 6. So you complete all the whites. So you complete every single white. We'll talk about shaping later. And you complete the yellows that are tier 6. A couple options on it, because you can leave quarry uncompleted, because like maybe you want canyon to drop more, right? So that's tier 6. Wow, do you hear that? All right, and then see, as you can see, my other tier 6 is race course. So the tier 6 even, I unspec the ones that were shitty. Now, when you get to a certain level, what you'll realize is that when you're doing the maps that you enjoy, the maps follow this rule. They can either, when you're in that map, let's say Plaza, you can drop the map that you are in, you can drop the maps that are connected to it on the Atlas, or you can drop any other map that you have the completion bonus for, or have completed, given that given the monster drop rules. So for example, let's say you have 126%, or 126%, which means a 26% chance at a +2. If you kill the boss of this plaza, it can't give you a +4, right? Because the maximum is still +2. But what it can do is, if it drops a tier 11, you can get +2 and get that to a tier 13. So that's what that's like the Atlas bonus and how it interacts with these maps. So eventually what you're going to want to do is, after tier 6, you're going to think, okay, in tier 7, if a tier 7 happens to drop, what exactly do I want it to be, right? And for me, I've shaped beach. So I want beach to be the only tier 7 that ever drops, right? That's fantastic, because the other ones, catacombs, arachnotomb, those are aids. You don't want to do that. And then you just go up the tier list. See, tier 8, make sure you use the search bar so that you can see tier 8. I'm like, oh, what do I have? Well, I love Tropical Island. See, Tropical Island's there, and that is the only one. Oh, and Bog. I love Bog. So you leave those two. So any tier 8 that drops has to be one of the ones you like. Now let's just skip ahead, right? Because you've already done 9, 10, 11. And after you get up to the reds, this is actually very important, because it's feasible to clear reds and sustain reds. T13, T12, somewhere around that is very easy to sustain if you have the alks. So at that point, you're thinking, okay, if a map drops and it's going to be red, do I want to risk the chance of it being a shitty red? No, you don't, right? So that's why you shape, like, first of all, you shape the good ones, Mud Geyser, Atoll, maybe Courtyard's not even the right decision, but like Promenade. I only shaped Overgrown Shrine because like tier 9s are like, I don't know, Strand. So with Strand, if it drops a tier 11, you only want Strand to drop. That would be amazing. And then like when you get a shaped Atoll, oh my god, you just want to quit the game and start jerking it, because that's how good it feels. And so the reason, a question that I get asked a lot is, well, like, there's maps. Okay, this is a good example. I'm actually going to unshape these 4 here. Okay, they're like, well, why don't you do these? These are pretty good, you know. And it's because it links to shitty maps. Okay, and because, for example, a really good map is Estuary. Whereas that, I love Estuary. It's not like the best layout, but it's so good. It feels so good. There's so many chests if you like that kind of thing. And Estuary is, I thought it was okay to unlock because it connects to Beacon. Beacon is like a combination between Atoll and Promenade. It's so good. Good mob density, lots of chests. And then it connects to Sulfur Waste. Sulfur Waste has like the war bands, and it's kind of open. It's kind of annoying, kind of like Barrows. But so you're like, okay, I might want to get Estuary because I can drop good maps and I can drop the other ones. But nope, you do not want to do Estuary because it's connected to Chateau, right? And because it's connected to Chateau, that's tier 11, that interferes with your Strand map. So you're like, no, I cannot do that. Same with Crematorium. Where is that? The map that has Crematorium attached to it, I don't even know where it is. But so anything that's attached to a god awful map, you want to, yeah, clip the session as a guide. I'll probably highlight it myself as well. So anything that's connected to a map that you cannot stand doing, you unshape, right? Now there are certain exceptions. For example, is the risk of dropping like a Scriptorium over an Atoll worth getting Plateau? I think it is because I like Plateau, so maybe I'll do that. And then so you make that kind of like balancing decision in your own mind. You go, okay, Dark Forest, sell for currency. So is it worth running Dark Forest because is it worth unlocking Dark Forest because if it drops, I get 15 to 20 chaos. But then I have to deal with the shit like dropping Overgrown Ruin and Palace. I don't know. That's up to you. But for me, it's not worth it. So I'm going to unspec these 4 here. And then you might even want to unspec these 3 Guardians because Minotaur is the best map layout. But I don't think it's necessary. I think you can keep all 4 Guardians. So that's the reasoning there. And so and that's another question I get. Snowblinds. Another very common question I get about the Atlas shaping is, how are your map drops like affected? Can you still sustain maps? And the answer is yes, because this has nothing to do with the amount of maps that drop. It has literally nothing to do. Whether this is 0 or 126, you have the exact same number of maps dropping per map given the same roles and everything, right? So that's only for shifting your average tier up 1. And yeah, I haven't killed Shaper yet. I've never actually done any of like the end game boss stuff. It doesn't really interest me. And is Highgarden's a desirable map? Yeah. And then so you have to think about every map in 2 ways. Okay, can you stand getting the maps that it connects to, and can you stand those maps connected to it overtaking the one that you shaped? Okay. And that's how you have to think about it. So Highgardens isn't worth it to me because I don't want to run Shipyard, and I definitely don't want to run Palace. So that's not worth it to me. But I can admit that Highgardens is a very good map on its own. Now, if you like all the maps equally and you don't care about clear speed, you don't go like Discharge, Volspark, to a degree Blade Vortex, you don't go like a fast clearing build on certain maps, then all of what I've said does not matter. Shape whatever you want. But if you want to be most efficient, if you want to like go full YOLO, get the most experience possible. For example, the top 2 people in this league were both Volsparkers, okay? And they got to level 99 in, I don't even know, like a few days, I think. It was so crazy because they had a Necromancer support. But anyways, if you want to make the most powerful character, you want to do this to your maps, okay? If you want the most powerful character as fast as possible, and more importantly, if you want higher quantity, okay? Because clearing good layout maps means more maps drop per hour and more items drop per hour. That's what it means. So if you run Scriptoriums all day, you're probably poor. But if you run Atolls all day and Strands all day, you're probably super rich, okay? And you can like beginning league, it's very important to do this because you just make the money and then you just buy everything you've ever wanted. Okay, that's it. That's the build guide. I'll put this